There is this incredibly evocative image in the research we're looking at today. It describes the average person walking onto a casino floor. You know, the vibe, all the bells, the flashing lights, that specific smell of carpet and excitement, and it compares them to someone at a wishing well.
It's a poetic image, I'll give you that.
Yeah.
But it's also a little bit tragic when you really, peel back the layers.
Right, you throw your coin in, you close your eyes, and
Yeah.
you hope for a miracle, and it feels like destiny.
It does.
But the reality check we have today, this collection of insider strategies called the Casino Compass, is basically a bucket of ice water on that whole fantasy.
It really is, and honestly, it has to be. Because if you actually look at the business model of a casino, the house doesn't keep the lights on because of hope.
Not at all.
They don't build those massive fountains and gold-plated lobbies on good vibes. They win on mistakes. They win on math.
Exactly. And that is the mission for this deep dive. We're not talking about counting cards or, pulling some Ocean's 11 heist.
No, nothing like that.
We are digging into a fascinating set of insights from, of all people, former floor staff. The people who watch the players for 8-10 hours a day.
Yeah.
They have seen every mistake in the book.
And they've compiled what they basically call the 7 deadly sins of the casual gambler, the
Right.
things you should never, ever do.
And there is one in particular, tip number 4,
Yeah.
that the insiders claim is the single biggest reason people leave broke.
Oh, yeah.
It's a trap that seems so harmless, so hospitable, that I didn't even realize it was a trap until I read this.
It's the one that kind of weaponizes your own biology against you. It's brilliant from a business perspective, but just devastating for the player.
We are definitely going to get there.
Yeah.
But we have to start with the most pervasive myth on the floor. The one that I think every single person listening has either thought themselves or heard someone whisper. The myth of the machine is due.
Oh, the classic. This is the bedrock of the gambler's fallacy. It is the engine that keeps people in their seats for hours.
Set the scene for us.
Yeah.
Because I see this every single time I walk through a casino.
You know the scene perfectly. You're walking past a bank of slots, and there's that one person. They look exhausted. Maybe they've been there for 5 hours,
Slummed over.
just mechanically hitting the button, but they refuse to move. And if you ask them why, they'd say,
Hasn't paid out all day, it's ready to pop, it's due.
exactly. It's full of money, and it has to release it. And honestly, that feeling is so intuitive to us as humans. We're pattern-seeking machines.
Of course.
If I flip a coin and it lands on tails 10 times in a row, every fiber of your being screams the next one has to be heads.
It feels like the universe owes you one. To balance the scales.
But the universe is surprisingly indifferent to our need for balance, isn't it?
It really doesn't care. And neither does the slot machine. The source material is adamant on this. Modern machines operate on RNG, random number generators.
And we really need to get into this for a second to explain why do is physically impossible.
Please do. Because I think people hear RNG and just think, okay, it shuffles a deck. But it's not that simple, is it?
No, it's much faster and much more chaotic. Inside that machine, there's a computer chip cycling through millions of number combinations every single second.
Even when no one is playing.
Even when it's sitting there empty in the middle of the night, it is just churning through outcomes faster than you can blink.
So what does that actually mean for the guy sitting there for 5 hours thinking he's working towards something?
It means that the exact millisecond he presses that button, the machine grabs whatever number was currently cycling in that split second. That number determines the result.
So if you'd waited one more second.
1 millisecond later or 1 millisecond earlier, the result would have been completely different. The machine has no memory.
None.
None. Zero. It doesn't know it hasn't paid out in 5 hours. It doesn't know it just hit a jackpot 5 minutes ago. Every single press is an independent event.
That is surprisingly hard to wrap your head around. It feels unfair. Like, if I put the work in, I should get the reward.
That's the sunk cost fallacy colliding with the gambler's fallacy. You feel like you're investing, building up a charge that has to release, but you're just paying for independent events. Hunting for patterns is a ghost chase.
So if I walk by a machine and see someone just won a massive jackpot, my instinct is, don't play that one, it's empty now.
Yeah.
That's wrong too.
Completely wrong. That machine is just as likely to hit a jackpot on the very next spin. There's no bucket inside to be empty, there's just math.
Okay, lesson 1. The machine doesn't have a conscience or a memory. Stop treating it like a stubborn vending machine.
Precisely. You cannot negotiate with a microchip.
Okay, let's move to something that involves a different kind of psychology. Let's call it suspicion. We need to talk about the player's card.
Ah, yes, the plastic loyalty card. This is where the conspiracy theories really take off.
I have a buddy who is exactly like this. He will not use the card. He thinks they use it to track you and then tighten the screws on the machine when you start winning.
Right. The theory is that the casino sees, oh, here comes Bob. He's up $500 this month. Let's flip his machine to lose mode.
Is there any truth to that? Is there a big switch in a back room somewhere?
According to the insiders, 100% a myth. And frankly, it's illegal. Think about the regulations. Gaming commissions have incredibly strict rules.
Right.
The payout percentages, the math we just talked about, are burned into the software chips. They're sealed with tamper-proof tape. The casino can't just change the odds on the fly.
So why are people so resistant? Is it just privacy paranoia?
I think so. A general distrust of surveillance. But the ex-employees in this article are emphatic. The player's card is your best friend. In fact, they say you are literally leaving free money on the table if you play without one.
Because of the comps, right? Explain how that actually works.
Well, the casino wants loyalty. They know the math is in their favor, so they're willing to give you a rebate to keep you there. That card tracks your coin in, how much money you bet, not how much you lose, and it rewards you.
So even if I'm winning, I'm still earning points just by playing.
Exactly. And those points turn into free hotel rooms, steak dinners, and often free play, which is literally cash credit to gamble with.
So my friend who thinks he's outsmarting the system by playing anonymously,
He's just their most profitable customer. He's paying full retail, getting zero rebates, and facing the exact same odds. It's a lose-lose strategy.
got it. Always slip the card in.
Okay.
Let's get into the headspace of the player a bit more. The source material talks about the psychology of loss.
This is where it gets dangerous. This is where the fun can stop and the real problems begin.
They describe this very specific moment. You're down. Maybe you brought $300 and you're down to your last 50, and your brain just starts screaming at you.
Just one more spin. I just need to get back to even.
That exact phrase, get back to even, it's the siren song of the casino.
It is. It's called chasing losses. And there's a biological reason it's so hard to resist. Studies show that the pain of losing is often twice as powerful as the pleasure of winning.
So we'll do irrational things to avoid finalizing that loss.
Right. As long as you have money in the machine, the loss feels temporary. The moment you cash out that ticket for zero, the loss becomes real. So people keep playing just to delay that.
So what do the pros do? How do they beat that instinct?
They borrow a concept from the stock market. They use a stop loss.
Explain how that works in a casino.
It's pure discipline. Before you even walk through the doors, you have a number, a hard limit. Let's say $200. If you lose that $200, the show is over.
No negotiation.
No negotiation, no, let me just hit the ATM for another 20. It's a wall. The source says you have to physically break the cycle.
Stand up.
You have to. You can't just sit there. Go grab a coffee, walk outside, remove yourself from the stimulus, because if you let your ego drive, you will empty your wallet. The stop loss is your safety net against your own chemistry.
And speaking of chemistry,
Mm.
this brings us to tip number 4. The one we teased, the drink trap.
This is the one that seems so obvious, and yet it works on almost everyone.
We all love free stuff. It's human nature. And when a server comes around and offers you a free cocktail, it feels like hospitality. It feels like, hey, at least they're giving me a drink.
But you have to ask yourself, why is it free? In a place where a bottle of water is $5 and a bag of chips is $8, why is the vodka tonic complimentary?
Because it's an investment for the house.
It's a chemical weapon against your judgment. Alcohol lowers inhibitions. That is its primary function here. It makes you brave. It makes you forget that stop loss we just talked about.
It makes you play faster.
Right. And the source puts it pretty bluntly. The most profitable players for the house are the ones who can't remember their betting limits.
That's a chilling line, isn't it? It just changes the whole vibe. It's not a gift, it's a strategy.
It is. When you're sober, you might look at a bet and say, that's too risky. After 2 free gin and tonics, that same bet looks like a great idea.
So what's the advice? Just don't drink.
Not necessarily. If you're just there for fun, playing penny slots for laughs, fine, have a drink. But the source says if you are trying to play strategically, if you actually want to win, or at least extend your playtime, you need a clear head.
One drink for the vibe, but then you lock it down. That makes sense.
The casino is banking on you getting sloppy. They want you loose.
Okay, let's shift gears back to the machines themselves. There were a couple of technical tips about progressive machines that I found really surprising.
This is a mathematical trap that catches so many casual players. A progressive machine is one where that jackpot just keeps ticking up and up.
Right, the win $1 million
Yeah.
machines, the ones everyone wants to play.
But here's the catch, and it's a big one. On many of those machines, you are only eligible for that massive jackpot if you bet max.
Bet max. So if the machine takes 3 coins, and I'm only putting in 1 to be conservative,
You're effectively playing a different game. You're playing for the small payouts, but you are mathematically locked out of the main event. You've disqualified yourself.
the source describes a nightmare scenario with this.
Oh, it's painful. Imagine lining up the winning symbols. The lights go off, bells ring, your heart stops. And you look down and you've won $50 instead of 50,000.
No,
All because you bet 50 cents instead of 75.
that is a trauma I don't think I could recover from. I would be flipping the machine over.
And it happens all the time. The floor staff see it constantly, people screaming because they thought they won big, only to have the attendant point to the bet max rule on the glass.
So what's the fix? Because BetMax can get expensive really fast.
The pivot is simple. Don't play above your bankroll. If you can't afford the max bet on a dollar machine, don't play it. Move down to a quarter machine or a nickel machine.
So you find a machine where you can afford to hit max bet every time.
Exactly. It is mathematically better to be a high roller on a cheap machine than a cheapskate on an expensive one. You want access to the machine's full potential.
That leads to another behavior. People getting married to a machine.
We talked about the do myth, but this is slightly different. This is about physical stagnation. You sit there, the machine feels like a vacuum just sucking in money, but you stay because, well, moving is effort.
And my aunt says this, I've got to warm it up before it pays, like it's an old car engine.
Which again, let's go back to the microchip. You cannot warm up a silicon chip by sitting on a chair. The machine does not care.
So the advice is to stay mobile.
Yeah, former floor staff say the happiest players are the ones who move. If the vibe is bad, if the fun stops, get up, walk away.
Is that a superstition thing? Or is there real logic there?
It's psychological logic. It breaks the trance. We've all been in that zombie state, just staring at the reels. It's hypnotic. Standing up, walking around, it resets your brain. It reminds you that you are a human being, not just an extension of the machine. It helps you stick to that stop loss.
I like that. Don't let the machine absorb you. Now here's where it gets really interesting for me, the numbers. The final tip is about the pure math of where you sit.
Yes. Location, location, location. It matters in casinos too.
The source warns specifically about machines at the airport. I've definitely thrown a few quarters in at the gate waiting for a flight. Why is that a bad idea?
It comes down to something called RTP, return to player. It's the percentage of money the machine is programmed to pay back over its lifetime.
Okay, so we want a high RTP.
Correct. But not all machines are equal. On the biggest strip, there's competition. A casino has to offer somewhat competitive odds, looser machines, to keep you there.
But at the airport,
You're a captive audience. You're stuck at gate C4. You're not going anywhere. So historically, airport slots and slots near buffets or restrooms often have the worst odds in the city.
wait, near the buffet too. I would have thought high traffic meant better machines.
It's the opposite. Think about someone in the buffet line. They're bored. They have 5 minutes. They are just killing time. The casino knows they'll play regardless of the payout percentage.
So they put the tightest machines there.
Exactly. The ones with the lowest RTP.
That is devious.
It's just business. It's yield management.
And there was one more math nugget about denomination that completely flipped my understanding. Penny slots versus dollar slots.
This is the most counterintuitive thing in the whole report. Most people think, I have a small budget, so I should play penny slots to make my money last.
That sounds logical. A penny is less than $1. I get more spins.
But penny slots generally have the worst payback percentage in the entire building. The hold, the amount the casino keeps, is much higher on pennies than it is on dollar machines.
Why is that?
It's about the cost of operation. It costs the casino the same in electricity, floor space, and salaries to run a penny machine as a dollar machine. The overhead is fixed.
Right.
So to make a profit on a machine where people are betting 40 cents, they need to keep a larger percentage. On a dollar machine, they can afford to give you a better RTP because the volume of money is higher.
So paradoxically, the cheaper machine is actually more expensive to play in terms of the percentage you lose over time.
Exactly. Math is everything, as the source says. You're not just playing a game, you're interacting with an algorithm.
So let's zoom out. We've gone through the 7 strategies, we've debunked the do myth no patterns, we've learned to love the player's card for the rebates, we're setting hard stop losses.
We're avoiding the free booze to keep our heads clear.
We're betting max on progressives, or moving down so we can, we're staying mobile. And we are picking our spots, avoiding the airport and the buffet lines.
It's a complete overhaul of how the average person gambles.
The source wraps this up by making a distinction I really liked: the difference between a customer and a player.
I think that's the key takeaway. A customer is passive. A customer consumes the experience the casino provides. The lights, the drinks, the hope, and they pay for it with their losses.
They're the product and a player.
A player is active. A player understands the system. They know the odds are against them, but they mitigate the risk. They use the perks, they control their own psychology, and most importantly, they know when to walk away.
It's the difference between being played and playing the game.
Precisely. And honestly, even if you never step foot in a casino again, there's a broader lesson here.
You're talking about the stop loss, right?
That concept really stuck with me. Think about how many times in life, in bad business projects, in arguments, we keep spinning the reels, hoping to get back to even.
We keep investing just because we've already invested so much, the sunk cost fallacy.
Exactly. But the ability to look at a situation, whether it's a slot machine or a career path, and realize you've hit your limit. The ability to say, the show is over, I'm walking away, that's a superpower.
That is a powerful thought. Sometimes the winning move isn't hitting the jackpot, it's just knowing when to stop playing.
Couldn't have said it better myself.
Well, there you have it. The Casino Compass. Next time you see those flashing lights, you'll know exactly what's going on behind the glass. Thanks for diving in with us.
Play smart, everyone.
And we'll catch you on the next deep dive.